Hello, and welcome to my video. My name is Hisu, and you're all probably wondering why I don't have a single hair on my face. Premature balding. Just kidding, it's cancer. Alright, this story goes back starting November of 2018. At this time, all I was doing was just working and, really not doing much else. But what had slowly happened was I was feeling some side pains, and initially I thought those side pains were nothing and it would just go away on its own. Until one night at around 2 a.m. I just felt this immense amount of pain just shooting through the side of my body, and it wasn't just like slight poking. It felt like I was being jabbed in the side, and I just didn't know what it was. So the entire night, probably like 6 hours, just in pain, trying to sleep through it, just trying to, get through the night, try to survive. By morning, the pain was gone. Now at this point, I didn't exactly know what it was. I didn't know what caused it. I don't know where it could have come from. But I go to work the next morning and I tell my friend to say, hey, just had like this immense amount of pain, and I was curled over and it was hurting real bad. And he did bring up the possibility that, hey, maybe it was kidney stones, and that's what I was doing. I was passing the stones. And at that moment I was like, oh, if that's what that was, great, at least I passed it. Well, I think I did. Maybe it's in my bladder, who knows. So what I do next is, go to the doctors, tell him like, hey, I had the side pain, I think maybe it's kidney stones. And he was like, well, if it's kidney stones and you felt all that pain and now you don't, well, then it's probably gone. And that was just basically his conclusion at the end of the day, was it's probably gone, so you don't have to worry about it. I was like, okay, great, I don't gotta worry about it. Yeah, I had to worry about it. Come December 26th, so the day after Christmas, I go into work again, and I am in a lot of pain. And it wasn't just slight pain, it was pain that was resonating through my side almost to my stomach. It was just sharp pains, and I was basically, again, curled up almost. And my friend was just like, you know what, we're going to the ER, you need to go to the ER right now. So we go to the ER and I get a scan done. At this point, I'm thinking maybe it is kidney stones. Maybe I've had more kidney stones, and who knows, that's why it's passing through and I'm just feeling all this pain. Well, finally the doctor comes back with my results, and he says, you have a tumor. And I was a little bit mind blown at that point. It was just, I thought it was kidney stones. And when he told me, I was a little shocked. Not like, oh my god, what am I gonna do, freaking out kind of shocked, but it was just more like speechless. I wasn't sure what to say. I wasn't sure exactly who to tell, and yeah, obviously my parents, whatever, all that stuff. But in that moment, it was, did you just actually say I have a tumor? And it was a little difficult, I guess, to swallow that info in, and it was, but at the end of the day, I kind of just had to. So I tell my friend, hey, can you pick me up and all that stuff. I let them know, they think it's a tumor. And from that point on, it just comes down to, I gotta go back to my doctor again, get some recommendations for specialists, and basically start my route like that. So yeah, I start seeing some specialists, mainly at USC, and the first thing they want to do is get a biopsy done. A biopsy, if you don't know what it is, basically they just take this huge needle and they just shove it inside wherever it needs to go, and it takes a bit of that specimen out, and they test it, they try to figure out what it is and all that fun stuff. Well, the test results were inconclusive, which kind of sucks. So we moved on to the next step, which was surgery. Before I continue with the story, I also need to tell you one little bit of detail. When I got that first scan done of my side, my tumor was only 2 to 3 inches wide. So, not very big. It's just maybe like this, yeah, just like this size. And it's relatively small at this point. When I'm seeing these doctors, it's probably like late January is when I'm seeing them. And they scheduled my date February 25th. So February 25th rolls around, I go to the hospital, you know, get all prepped up, go into go under, get taken into the surgery, come back out, and you know, my doctor comes up to me after the surgery and was like, hey, you know, I have these photos. I actually asked them for photos of, you know, the surgery and stuff, you know, because I was curious. You know, it's kind of cool. You're getting something taken out of your body. Why wouldn't you want to document it? So I get those pictures, and the tumor is, remember, I told you, tumor is about 3 inches, you know, wide. It's all of a sudden 5 inches wide, you know, and I'll put, you know, okay, really quick. I'm gonna put a picture up, you know, right here. Very bloody. It's, you know, it's a tumor taken out of my body, and it's not the most beautiful thing in the world to look at, but it's also very interesting to look at. It's basically a grapefruit sized tumor in my side. Moving on, the doctor, you know, gets the second biopsy done, and those results take, you know, maybe 2-3 weeks at the most. But I finally get a call a few weeks later after my surgery, and you know, the doctor, very straightforward, just says, hey, look, we did the test, we got the results, you have cancer. Your cancer is called Ewing sarcoma. And it was still at that point a little hard to believe, because obviously cancer. But you know, I moved on and I looked into it. And don't quote me on this, because when I read this was probably like 5 months ago, but it is a bone tissue cancer. So, you know, in my instance, it was my ribs. So great part is I ended up getting 3 ribs taken out due to the fact that the tumor had grown so large, it had basically enveloped my ribs as a whole. So I've got rib 10, 11, 12 completely taken out with a Gore-Tex mesh now in that side to basically hold my side wall, my little side up, so it doesn't like cave in all of a sudden. So yeah, I've got that going on. Now, reading up on that cancer, it was actually some pretty good news. Number one, it had a pretty good survival rate of about 77%. I think, hope I didn't read that wrong. Don't trust me yet. But yeah, so I, you know, 77%. And you know, I thought that's actually not too bad. It's really not that bad. But it's also a very aggressive cancer. What does that mean? In my instance, it was I had my surgery, got my tumor removed, and a month later, 10 more nodes had basically spread across my body on my pleura, which is a balloon sac that is in between your rib cage and your lungs. So in between, right in between, is basically a balloon called the pleura, and 10 nodes had spread across my body, and it actually was also filling up that balloon with fluid, and it was crushing my lungs. So actually a month after surgery, I went to the ER again because I was in immense pain. The fluid is building up inside and actually crushing it from the inside. So I started chemotherapy immediately after that as well. I've got 2 different treatments of chemo right now. One of them is doxorubicin, and I'll get to it in a minute. And the other one, the other treatment, is two different chemicals, which is itopizide and efosfamide. I hope I'm not butchering that. But basically I had 2 different sessions for my body. The first one, doxorubicin, it is the first chemo that I started off with. It's really not that fun. It is 3 24-hour bags of continuous chemo being administered into my body. And so again, that is almost 72 hours straight of just a chemical drug being pumped into your body. And with that treatment, I spent 4 days inside the hospital actually. So the way my treatment is working is I am going in for chemo every other weekend. So first week it was doxorubicin, and then the 3rd week will basically be the itopizide and efosfamide. And that one I'm actually in the hospital for 5 days. It's just 5 days straight of treatment, and that's it. And that's basically what I've been doing up until now. And you know, it's been rough. Hasn't, you know, obviously it's not enjoyable. Nobody wants to sit through chemo and just, you know, have all those chemicals literally take everything from you. I mean, Jesus Christ, I look horrendous. Damn. But yeah, that's what I've been doing. Basically what I wanted to share with everyone today was everything that's been going on in my life for the last of 2019. This has been actually my entire year. Probably, you know, who knows, maybe I'll continue these videos because I've honestly got a lot of time on my hands right now and I don't know what to do with it. I literally spend all day at home because, you know, cancer.